Hey, my name is Tim with Decorative Concrete of Virginia, and today I'm going to show you how we installed a vinyl chip epoxy floor that has a built-in baseboard. So the first thing we have to do is install the epoxy mortar to create the shape of the baseboard. We actually did this with two completely different methods, and I'll explain why in a minute, but the traditional way to do this is to use an epoxy cove-based resin mixed with sand. We found that the most efficient way to do this is to have one person whose only job is to get the material on the wall. A second person comes behind him with a cove trowel to smooth the mortar and create the radius at the bottom of the baseboard. This customer chose our tuxedo color of vinyl chips, but they asked if we could add some red to it so that it would match the logo for their company. And instead of ordering a custom blend from the manufacturer, we just ordered a box of red chips and added them to our standard color at the job site. Once the floor is ground and the baseboard is cured overnight, we're ready to apply our epoxy. We apply high solids epoxy with a squeegee, and then we back roll it with a 3/8 inch nap roller. Once most of the material is on the floor, we walk back into the wet epoxy on spiked shoes and we broadcast vinyl chips into the epoxy. Once we finish broadcasting chips, we're going to let that cure overnight and we're going to come back the next day to clean up the excess chips. Hey, my name is Tim with Decorative Concrete of Virginia. I make a lot of videos about concrete and epoxy coatings. If that sort of thing is interesting to you, hit the subscribe button down below. The next day we come back and scrape the floor and we try to save all the excess chips so we can use them on another job. We blow what's left to one side of the room so that they're easy to pick up. We pick that up and trash it, and then we vacuum the floor a few times and we're ready to put our top coat of polyaspartic down. When we got to the job this morning, we noticed that the baseboard didn't have quite enough chips on it in a few places, so we actually went back over the entire baseboard with a fast set polyaspartic, and then we broadcast chips on the baseboard. So the baseboard technically has two coats of chips at this point. And the only reason I'm not showing any video of it is because I forgot to record that part. We're always trying to improve the products that we offer. The customer for this project really liked the work that we did, but they asked if there's anything we could do to make the cove base a little smoother. We went back and sanded and applied another coat of clear to all of the base on phase 1, but we decided we wanted to try something different for phase 2. I've been wanting to try precast cove base for a while for a couple of reasons. Since we were able to coat the base while it's laying flat, I knew we would be able to get the chips to stick to the base with only one coat. We come back the next day and clean off the excess chips, and then we ran a quick pass of an orbital sander across the base before we applied the clear polyaspartic top coat. The best thing about this process so far is how much time we've saved. We only have about an hour or two tied up in the cove base to this point, and all of the time that's been spent so far on this has been in downtime between other projects. Now the cove base is ready to be installed on the walls. You can cut this material to length with a standard miter saw, and then you apply adhesive on the back and glue it to the wall. Now that the base is glued to the walls, we apply a bead of caulk to each seam and then broadcast chips into the caulk. This phase of the project is actually going down on a wooden subbase instead of concrete. I won't get into details about how to install this on a wood floor in this video, but leave me a comment below if you have any questions, and I may even make a video about this in the future. Now that the wood is prepped and the base is installed, we're ready to continue with our standard vinyl chip epoxy system. All we do is pour high solids epoxy onto the floor, and then we spread it with the squeegee and back roll across it with a 3/8 inch nap roller, and then once we get the epoxy spread, we broadcast vinyl chips into it. I posted a more in-depth tutorial about our vinyl chip epoxy and polyaspartic system a few months ago. I'll leave a link to that at the top of the screen here, and I'll also post a link to it at the end of this video. We came back the next day and cleaned all the excess chips off the floor, and I was relieved to see that you could not see the seam between the precast baseboard and the new vinyl chip epoxy floor. So all that's left for us to do now is to apply our clear polyaspartic top coat, and we'll be done on this one. I was really happy with the way this precast baseboard came out. We saved a couple of trips to the job by using this, but we also spent a lot more materials doing it that way. Either way, I think both ways work fine. They both seem pretty durable, and I think they accomplish the same thing by making it easy to clean the floor without worrying about water going onto the baseboard. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it helps me out a lot if you'd hit the like button down below. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions at all about this process, just leave a comment below and I'll make sure I reply to everybody. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.